Okay. Greetings. Welcome to Empath Holistic Healing. It's me, Lady Empath. Hi. So, as you all can see in the title, I put let's talk about well being, wellness, nutrition, and emotion. What kind of provoked me into coming on today to share this is um, many of the different people that I listened to and topics that I felt like was being divinely synchronized for me to hear, and things that were always kind of a part of my guidance. But you know how we always need a reminding sometimes. And so, as I mentioned on the previous video, I talked about food having its own frequency and vibration. You all hear me say things like, I'm going to be here sharing from my most true to life authentic place. I feel like that is equally necessary just as much as so-called authenticity and candor and being raw, in my personal opinion, is equally important. It kind of shows your human nature, your vulnerability, that are we superheroes with superpowers to a degree, but we still have a vulnerability just like all superheroes have vulnerability, right? And it's nice to share that so that we can all feel connected and like we're a part, and not crazy. You know what I'm trying to say? Like you're not crazy. So anyhow, I'm gonna just start talking and sharing. So I mentioned food last time, having a frequency and vibration. I heard something today that kind of went along with that in terms of exercise and how, as popular as it may be, everyone always saying exercise, exercise, exercise. But if we are malnutritioned, and when I say malnutritioned, I mean not in weight, but malnutrition in terms of the nutritional value our bodies are currently receiving. So, the information I came across today was saying if you're nutritionally imbalanced and malnutrition and you try to get out there and start pushing your body to this mega exercise regimen, you're going to do more harm than good. You're going to kick your body into its default mode of fight and flight and protection because it's already feeling deprived nutritionally. And so it's designed to go and kick into another gear. So the recommendation was before trying to get on some mega exercise regimen, include, first of all, trying to get your body out of toxicity, adding higher nutritional value to your system. And see, for me, what that means is, as I said on the previous video, we can't always go out there and start buying all of these organic foods or, right away and just radically do all of these things. To me, what it means is setting intention, tapping into your guidance, and doing what you can where you're at in your now in terms of nurturing and putting nutrition into your body. So I thought about that. I'm like, and how now? Why am I talking about this with the empath holistic healing? Because it all goes together. The way we do life, the way we deal with life, the way we process life, the way we deal with stressors, the way we deal with ourselves, the way we deal, it's all going together because if you are feeling nutritionally depleted, it's going to have a trickling effect onto everything else. Equally so, they were talking about how it's not about, everybody being the same weight or size or shape, but the science and physicality of things is the more you have, the harder the systems have to work to push out to try to push out nutrition to all of the tissue and various cells. So I thought about that too. I said, it just started provoking me into looking deeper, delving deeper into what makes up who we are and how we're handling things, right? In Pabst Holistic Healing. So for me, it means that, getting back to wellness and well-being in a whole holistic sense means that I set an intention and ask for guidance with neutralize not neutralize, I'm sorry, adding nutrition back into my body. We That means we need to take an assessment of what our eating habits are. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe in balance. I believe you have to follow your guidance. There's always some fat coming out every week. And so I'm not saying that we should become obsessed in a sense where we're out of balance, but an honest assessment of what are we putting in our bodies every single day. And so, and setting that intention, what's funny is as I set that intention yesterday, I got like 6 Fuji apples given to me right after me making that video saying I could at least eat an apple. I was joking, but to me, that speaks volumes because we all have to start somewhere. So maybe it starts by something that you are not currently doing today in your life. And if that means eating an apple a day or however often that you have access, then your body is receiving this nutritional value, which is helping you to get back into balance, which has a trickling has a trickling effect into everything, right? So I really wanted to come on and talk about that in terms of where we may be energetically. We may be going through some major energetic shifts and transitions, and some of us may be feeling all kinds of some kind of ways, right? But as we factor all the other factors in, it can be compounding things, right? Okay. So that's the physical and nutritional aspect of it in terms of food and exercise. I recommend walking, just basic walking. That's the movement. So you're not taking your body into no extreme radical exercise regimen. You're taking it easy, but you're moving your body as you increase nutritional intake into you, nutritional value, not just supplements, nutritional value into you. Okay. So that's that aspect. Now I want to get onto the other aspect. I was listening to, um, who was I listening to? Another person online today. And in terms of owning our truth and speaking our truth and our emotions and how we feel, how that is equally important to our overall health, wellness, and well being. And when we've been conditioned to deny our truth, to pretend, to, worry about everybody else and all of these things, that also has an effect on your energetic system, believe it or not. It also has an effect with the mentality, the emotions. And so it can create what we later on see in life, which is our resentment, our anger, our um, sadness, depressions, and things, because basically we're denying our authenticity. We're denying our own voice, and most empaths have been conditioned to do that. But I am setting an intention with myself as well as Empaths Holistic Healing, as well as anything I do here online, um, that we own that we release and honor any feelings we're having, true feelings that maybe we're afraid to face. Maybe we have felt disempowered most of our lives because the dynamics and the people that have been around us and what we were born into. And we just carried it on and carried it on and carried it on. Right. And so, in order to be able to move forward to some degree, we need to own and honor the truth, our truth. If we're sad, if we're afraid, if we feel disempowered, as I said, or we feel, like it's not safe because of the dynamics that we come from. Like it's not safe to be yourself. It's not safe to speak your truth. It's not safe to stand your ground and stand on your convictions and stand on your, reinforce those healthy boundaries. It's not safe because there's too much backlash. There's too much, you know, at stake. The people, hurt you and harm you and all those things we identify with, facing it but letting it go. It's a part of it, right? Now, I also want to add something else that I heard from Mr. Aaron Doughty when he was talking about narcissism and people who come from narcissistic families. And he has a similar path, and people asking why don't they get their karma, or, how do you just really get free of that vicious cycle energetically? And so he mentioned something else that I've mentioned before as well, that's also equally my guidance, and it's called Ho'oponopono, and do your own research on that. But basically, it's an ancient thing that has been scientifically proven and has been practiced for a long time, starting in Hawaii, where basically whoever, whether it's people that hurt us or if our family, bloodline, we're mad at ourselves, like whatever that is that we're holding deep, 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 by saying with intention or listening to these prayers that says, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. Starting with self, so that it's being directed to the you, the self, the inner child, and then setting that intention. He said 21 days, and we'll start to see a shift in our energetic reality and even the things that we are co-creating, wanting to get free of cycles that maybe you walk away from individuals, but you notice a pattern. So he was saying forgiveness. And sometimes it's challenging. So I'm recommending that you ask your guides, like I'm doing, ask your guides, as well as starting with those prayers. There's a frequency with this particular prayer. I'm going to start listening to it at night because there's a lot that happens in our sleep state, our subconscious, and everything like that. And so I'm setting an intention to start as soon as I know that I'm going to bed, to get my headphones and put, let that prayer just go forth, setting that intention to be directed first to myself and then to my bloodline, my ancestry, my family dynamics, any individual I feel like affected me in a very significant way. Um, Past, all lifetimes. I mean, I'm going deep with it. I'm taking it to the Akash because it may be something I'm carrying from that as well as this carnation. So, in order to release that, now, how does it connect to what I'm talking about? Again, I said it's all connected. So, our physical, right? As well as emotional acknowledgement, truth, authenticity, and then the energetic, as you all hear me talk about all the time. So these are some simple things that I am bringing more into play because I'm, like I said, investing themselves. And so, and when we see what's happening, we start making adjustments accordingly. So, um, yeah, let's, honor how we feel. And you know what? If you feel like you don't have, one of the ladies was recommending you talk to somebody to help you kind of talk out, emotions that have not been validated or feelings that have not been validated, that you haven't felt safe. But some of us don't really feel like we have any trustworthy, qualified individuals to be able to take that or hear it or allow it without them trying to step in and fix it and alter it and do all sorts of stuff with it that they don't have no business doing, right? So, Empaths Holistic Healing will be a platform, is a platform for just that. No, I don't want it to, turn into anything where it's like this mega negative place, because in essence what we continue to keep focusing on, we're going to keep vibrating. But I will set an intention that maybe a day out of the week, or a day out of the month, or however, that I'll come on, I'll share my stuff, in the name of vulnerability, authenticity, and I will welcome and invite you all to come on and just say how you're feeling in that now moment, without filter. And what I mean by without filter is nothing to do with somebody here or anything like that, because this is not about coming on here trying to find something to pick on or someone to pick on. About you, about yourself, about your current experience and where you're at. So, for an example, if I'm on there and I'm like just sharing something that maybe I've been afraid to say before, that's either bothering me, that I'm not comfortable, whatever. And then I'll invite you all to come on and say, hey, like your day, what bothered you that you would never speak of because of what your patterns have been or your conditions have been, that you didn't feel right when someone said this to you, or you didn't feel like that set right and that made you angry and hurt or bothered. Like a place to where you can come on here and say that and feel safe and secure, and not feel like you're going to get 12 people trying to correct you about it, because this is not the place where we're trying to correct other people's emotions in a sense of um stepping in and telling them how they ought and what they need. Okay, more often than not, empaths just need to be heard. They need to be heard, period, point blank, without filter, without somebody trying to guilt them or shame them or manipulate them or twist it or gaslight and all of that other stuff. They need to be heard. They need to feel like it is safe for me to go somewhere and express that I am angry. I did not like that. It did not sit well with me. I don't care what everyone else is saying. I don't care what they're portraying. I didn't like that. That didn't sit right with me. And I'm done with it, or I'm tired of it, or, you know, just being able to say that out loud. And I will put some guidelines, in the chats, in the groups, that, we're not here to try to critique and counsel each other here. This is just a place that everybody can just say how they feel. And by the time I'm done with that particular recording, I will probably, if whomever want to join in, they can, but that's an attempt to release. The intention will be to release, to acknowledge, to validate it, to express and release it, and then seal it with some high vibes, some high vibrational affirmations, with some mantras, maybe, because you all know I am mega into the mantras. Breathing techniques at the end of it all to get us recentered after the free expression of whatever that is we're dealing with. Why? Why am I doing this? Why is that so important to me? Because I realized how the effects have been for not having it, for not living life that way, for being conditioned to be censored and controlled and out and fear based, because oh, you better not say that, you better not say that, you better not do that, you better not, because if you do, they're gonna, what I'm saying, they're gonna yell, they're gonna scream, they're gonna fire you, they're gonna, you know all these things that have conditioned us into feeling like we don't have a right to voice. Now, I want to add a disclaimer. I have to always do it because in any and everything, you're going to always have extremes and someone that perhaps is going to take it there. Okay, so you want to use moderation, wisdom, and balance as you're guided. Just because we want to be free to express, it doesn't mean we want to be inappropriate in a sense to where we're now crossing lines. We're now, I'm saying, becoming maybe some of the things in which we have absorbed and received. So we still want to have that. There's a time, you can express your truth without it being raunchy. You can express your truth, when it comes to someone else, right? But what I'm really referring to is the need to get it out raw because some of us don't have that in our lives. You have to censor in a sense to where you you give it all you have to say something appropriately in each situation. But to validate your authentic self, you do want to give yourself an outlet of some sort to get it out as it is. As it is. So, in other words, I think I said this some maybe several months ago. I was making a joke, but I think that's what's going to end up happening. I wanted to come out with this business that you come to this location. It's called the Scream Room. And basically, it was gonna have all of, of course, soundproof, and then it was gonna be built with certain different themes and atmospheres, and everything would have been safe and all that. But without feeling like you need to look around, you're disturbing neighbors, the birds, the cats, the cops or whatever, right? Or falling apart while you're on the freeway, which is the last place you really want to fall apart. You kind of want to have your focus to some degree. But the screen room is just for that. Because maybe you need to communication, throat chakra. Maybe you need to get it out as you feel it. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like you need a spot where you're not censoring yourself, where you're not judging yourself, where you're not, you know, because every day we have to do it. Every day to some degree, we're doing that. So the scream room is like, no, you go in there and you yell if that's what you feel. If that's what's coming up and you feel like you just need to scream or you need to say, I am angry, like to the top of your lungs and stomp around. You know what I mean? Like, and then there'll be punching bags in there if you need to go kick things around. Getting that, expressing, validating the anger, validating the frustration. Or if you need to cry, there'll be a scream room and a cry room where you feel safe to be vulnerable, where you feel safe to allow that sensitivity to come out without feeling like, "Oh, well, I don't want my kids to worry, I don't want people to worry and so forth and so on." A space that's conducive, that's a nurturing womb-like environment where you feel like you can breathe, you feel like it's safe to cry, it's safe to feel that vulnerability, the ugly cry, whatever kind of cry you have, where you just give yourself that time. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna cry for 10 minutes. And while I'm crying, I'm gonna connect to what that feeling is and what triggered that and what provoked that, and with the intention of letting it go. But see, all of that is a validating to the experiences, validating to maybe what we squelched for a long time to survive. But maybe now, as seasons shift and energy shift and all of that, maybe it's not serving us anymore to do it. And so stuff is starting to come to surface, stuff is starting to be provoked. Other things start to happen when you continue to push it down. There's illness, I'm telling you all. So, my heart's desire is to, um, first of all, for the self, incorporate, of course, everything which I share with you all, but to give that to you all and then to allow Empath Holistic Healing to be that place. Okay. Um, so I just thought I would come on and say that. I know in the last video I said I was closing out my Facebook and for a while, and I did. But I also feel led to create a whole nother one. And sometimes we do have to start anew. Sometimes the old is not working anymore. Sometimes we're still energetically connecting to a life perhaps that is no longer valid, especially if you've had a drastic change. Not everybody go through that to that degree, but if you've had a radical, like you were on that spectrum, now you're on this spectrum, and sometimes we just have to let go of it all and say, you know what, I'm gonna let it go. Especially if it wasn't really serving you, especially if it was kind of just dead weight, just letting it go and creating a fresh and a new. Um, so anyways, I hope that that's encouraging for you all. Like, you know what? Find a way to take care of yourself on a holistic level. Okay. Find a way. Listen to your body. Listen to your emotions. Instead of we all kind of by default, we like to run from it, but it's going to come back. And that's what's sad about being brought up in dynamics to where you were not honored, because it makes it more challenging for you to thrive in a holistic, whole, grounded sense later in life when that was not the foundation that you came from. Anything healthy should have space for free expression. Anything that's healthy, anything that is balanced, because everyone's voice is worth being heard. Everyone's emotions are worth being heard, and not in the I'm going to, how do you say, so that it has the appearance of validation. I'm just going to pacify you. But in essence, the real energy and vibration and reality of that is the same. So you have to assess that. You know the difference between authentic connection, authentic free expression, and folks that are really open, truly open in the name of that particular relationship and dynamic, whether it's employment, family, business, whatever dynamic, romance. If people value us, who we are, and what we bring, then they value it in a whole, and it's going to come out in action, not an appeasement. I'm going to appease you. We'll know the difference. So we have a right to that. And so what I'm doing is I am setting an intention to debunk, neutralize, and erase the codes, the programs, the patterns, the agreements that keeps silencing the empath, that keeps empaths in cycles of toxicity, or cycles that are connection cycles, situations that are truly not good for them. But because it's what they've always known, and then our fears, we all have them. I'm speaking of myself. And I'm going to share more of that, especially once I start seeing you all engage here. Um, Once I really get, a feel of who's coming on here, and, you know, if they're really a part of it and things like that, then I'm going to share more too. I'm going to come out more too. I'm going to be a little bit more, in terms of my personal um and stuff like that. But before the year is out, you all will probably see me on camera a few times. I think I'm going to come on and do some meditations with you guys, some yoga, some mantras, breathing exercises, um, I'm gonna come on and do some of that, and I feel like maybe that's gonna work best if you all are seeing me actually do that so you can follow my signals. Like, if I'm doing the mantras, you can follow my hands. If, I'm doing a certain pose, which more likely than not, I'll just to keep it on a neutral, or I'll probably just be in the regular seated pose with your legs crossed just to keep it kind of in a general place that everybody can participate with. I'll probably just start there. Okay. But back to topic, you guys. Wellness, well being, emotions, nutrition, all of that goes together. And if you know emphatically that you've come from toxicity, I don't care how polished it is on the surface and maybe what is being portrayed to the outside world, you know what you come from. You know what you're currently a part of in terms of your, you know, family dynamic and things like that. And so if you know that, yeah, like that ain't what we believe. That ain't how it is. And I'm just gonna say this too, and I know I'm gonna make some people mad with this one, but that's a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Not being afraid to say what will go against the norm. You'll hear people say things like, well, I know that in my day, or my grandpa and them, and my great great grandpa and them, and they all turned out fine, and this is how it was. Well, let's go back to that. Who said they turned out who said they turned out fine? By whose definition? What is fine? Functional don't equal fine for everybody. Oh, I said something with that. I'm just saying, okay? Because we get caught up in the external and the appearance. Well, they did that and they lived till they was 90, 100 years old. So like these stories, 90, 100, okay. But you don't know the full dynamic. Maybe they were eating maybe more from the organic, and now most of our stuff have the pesticides, but it don't mean they had really a healthy diet. It just might mean that they had more access to the organic. They were growing their stuff back in the days. They couldn't afford, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a whole lot of factors involved here, okay? And when it comes to the raising and how you're dealing with your children and your relationship with your children and offspring, well, that's another thing that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, look now, by whose definition? They, who are they? The majority according to who? See, all of that makes us stretch, and being willing to say, you know what, I want to let it go because I want something better for myself on a whole sense. And those I leave behind are those that I'm impacting and helping. Like, I'm not going to just pass that along just because my 12th grandmother and them that's how they roll. Well, you know what I mean? No, I'd rather tap into maybe some of the deeper ancestral stuff before it became toxic, before it became chaotic and toxic and primitive and exploitive in nature to your own children. To all glory. I didn't even mean to go there, but guys, we got to own all of that. See, this for me is a platform of expression. I heard someone talk about that today too. Like, everybody find their creative ways, because sometimes it just needs to be said, and you will be surprised who ends up coming along the journey and path because you were bold and decided to go up. Well, I may, and you know what I'm saying? It's okay, but I'm gonna stay in neutrality. I'm gonna detach from the need to play this role and be in a label. Aaron Doughty talked about that. How do we neutralize all that narcissistic stuff? Forgiveness, healthy boundaries, forgiveness, healthy boundaries, and being willing to let go of the role in which we have played in their dynamic. That's it. That sounds simple, but it can feel complicated at times because we feel things. But this is how we're going to rise, you guys. Search out Erin Doughty, search out Sandra Rollins, I want to say. She also has a whole Open. I say start there, especially if it's something super deep and you just, you know what I mean? Super deep and multiple folks involved. I say, yeah, let's start there. Let's just start playing that and listening to that and setting an intention with certain folks in mind and watch how our energy starts to change. We have to be energetically free, to feel energetically clear, and to be able to energetically focus on creating a better reality. Is it hurtful? Yeah, that's why we're going to honor whatever pain, but we're going to also let go of the identity of pain because maybe we've lived there for so long and maybe it's kind of jolting to realize how bad some things may be. But validating it, but then detaching from the identity of, no, I don't have to be hurt. Yeah, I am. I was hurt. I got hurt. This is something hurtful. And this is how I feel, but it's not who I am. I am a person that can handle this now. I am a person that can handle it now. I'm a person that can stand up for myself now. Maybe I didn't feel like I could before. Maybe I was always afraid too. Maybe I didn't trust myself. But now I'm growing. Now I'm stronger. If these things happen, I can stand up for myself. If these times represent, I can set healthier boundaries. I can cut off somebody if I got to. I can stand up and say I don't like that and know when I need to. I can walk away from something or someone when I feel it is toxic to me. I can require boundaries and respect, and if they refuse, walk away. I can and I will be okay. And it's a loving thing. It is a loving thing. And sometimes we don't feel this way. Listen to me, you guys. I'm speaking from my own heart. I know what it's like to not feel strong, to not feel brave, to not feel able, to not feel valid because of life circumstances, situations, and the dynamics and bloodline that you come from and how you've been treated. I know. I know. Burdens and weights that you carry that are really not even truly your own. But I know. And what I'm trying to say is admitting that to ourselves, like, gosh, I don't feel strong. Okay. And sit with it. I don't feel that way. In the deep part of who I am, I don't feel strong. Or I don't feel worthy because I screwed up too much. But we feel that way due to conditioning. I'm going to throw that for free. Okay. It's a program. But acknowledging that, like, I feel this. This is why I settle. Oh, glory. Whether it be with jobs, people, relationships, friends, whatever, family, or I'm afraid to be alone. Why? Well, I was rejected. I was abandoned. The people who were supposed to be the most protective and nurturing were aloof and still are. Or surface, put it this way, surface affection, which is not real. And an empath is extremely intuitive. So they have lived their lives being able to intuitively know the real, but yet on the surface, seeing something else. This created the confusion, the pain. If you never got warm looks from your parents and you were conditioned to think that was just okay because of whatever, whatever, I'm telling you right now, it created something. If every time you expressed yourself, there was some kind of a passive aggressive backlash of sorts, it created something. Hopefully, what I'm saying to you jogs you on your own journey as it resonates to you and where it resonates for you. Tears are coming down my eyes like right now, okay? Because it's me, it's a part of my journey. But I also know as I'm holding one particular crystal stone in my hand that is designed to connect me straight to source, straight to my angels, bringing that clear continuative connection there. I know. I know it's not just me, and I know it's for many of you on this journey where you're going round for round and you're doing great. You're doing the best you can, but sometimes it feels very taxing. And what I'm sharing on this particular video, if you really go back and listen to it and you really sit with it honestly and ask your own inner guidance and guides to assist you, they're going to point you straight to where you need to make those adjustments for yourself. They're going to point you. I'm telling you now. They're gonna say, "That's you, baby girl or baby boy. You need to go in there and scream. This is you. You never admitted and validated how afraid you felt. You never admitted and validated how angry you felt. You act like you've been okay because that is a defense mechanism that is built into you to survive. But now it is time to elevate, increase your frequency, but you can't do that if you stay here and hold that. Validate it because it's okay. No judgment. You're okay. You're not crazy. You're not wrong. You have a right to feel some kind of way when folks don't treat you right. You have a right to not think you're crazy because you got something to say when something ain't right. You deserve respect, regard, and honor and healthy boundaries in your life equally so as anyone else. I don't care who they are, how much money they have, what they've accomplished, what face they put on to the world. You are equally worthy. You have a right. We have a right. We have a right. And I'm going to say that until that thing is vibrating so far deep within us. I tell you what, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. And then I'm also admit when we don't feel like that with the intention, asking the archangels, asking divine Mother Gaia, help us to process this stuff, release it and let it go and move on in a healthier way in life. Oh, yes. As I'm doing this, I'm sensing a shift in my own energy. That's to me, that's deep. Like, whoa. So understand that this is not about us just coming on here being the complainers. You know what I mean? You always got folks or movements that's just about the complainers. No, because see, we're going to end on the empowerment note. We have a right to feel the full range of emotion, but we also equally have a right to detach from it and let it go. And understanding, yeah, guess what? We're going to feel that. We're going to sit with that. We're going to process that, whatever that means. And then, and we're going to do it however many times it takes with joy and glee. You know what I mean? And having our days we don't feel that well, we're going to acknowledge we're not feeling all that. It's all right. It's okay. You're okay. We're okay. Dear one, you deserve your own happiness and bliss in this journey before you take your last breath. You deserve to have relationships and encounters that make you smile in your heart, that honor you, that see you, the true you, and value that. You deserve to enjoy your journey. You have a right. No matter what the conditioning has been, you have a right. But once we get that into ourselves, then we're going to vibrate it. Then we'll see more manifestations of it. And I say we because I'm a part of that. The more I do this, the more my vibrations will continue to shift, and the more I'll start co creating different realities. I've seen this, I know it works. When we get stuck, it's not something to be upset about and judge about. It's just another place that we need to face something, our shadow, a pain, something, but with love. Love. You know how often we're always cheerleading people, empaths? We're always cheerleading folks come to us and talk to us and they tell us their stories and we're always saying, "Well, you know, it's okay," or "You're beautiful," and we're just naturally that way. When people come to us, no matter what we see about them, no matter, empaths can see through it. We see the whole. We may see where, okay, or they, but because we see the essence of a person, the essence, not things they have maybe become or energy that's sticking to them or whatever, we typically are encouraging and cheerleading. But guess what? We need to be this for us, for ourselves. We deserve that. All of that we put out to folks when folks is coming and sitting next to us on the bus stop or at work or family or somebody call you or somebody send you a message and they coming to you with a story that they have told you for 10 years. Funny how that goes, isn't it? When we talk about our stuff or our repetitive issues, people are not as, you know, but they have said that same story to us for 20 years. And for 20 years we've been encouraging every time they can. They have done the same thing in one particular area for us a long time, and yet we just listen. See, all of that, I'm saying this to say this, all of that loving, compassionate, gentle, patient energy, we need to direct it to ourselves. We need to be that way for ourselves in the places where we feel like we have failed epically, in the places where we feel the pain, where we feel the hurt, where we feel the confusion, where we feel the frustration, in the places where we've repetitively done something that we can't seem to get over. We need to give that energy to ourselves. Yeah. This is all about wellness and well being, nutrition, and emotion. So, love, drink some water today. Get the high alkaline water if you can. There's some water at, I think it's Ross or Marshall's. I forget what it's called, but it's extremely high alkaline and it costs like $2, I think. And you can get it at the front, like by the register, but it's something really good about it. That water tastes so good. My son even noticed it. My son, who's autistic, um, he noticed it. He made the comment that confirmed to me. I'm like, yeah, it was easy to drink. And it seemed like it made you want more and more of it. So if any of you are struggling in that area, I recommend that, okay, if you can, right? Water. Those little simple things, water, fresh air. If you're closed up in a house or your business or office all day long, every day, 24/7, and you get all of 10 minutes of air outside because you have to go outside to get in the car and to drive and to drive to the other place. No, we're meant we are organic beings, okay? So set the intention to get some fresh air and not staring at your phone. No, set the intention to look at the tree or flower on purpose. I don't care because all of this is going to help the whole point of what we're talking about, balance, holistic healing. Okay, getting to feel good. And when we feeling crummy and just horrible, believe it or not, nutrition has a mega effect on that, just like weight. And that's a touchy topic because I understand where all that comes from and why it's a touchy topic. But that's why I put it a certain way too. Because believe it or not, from a physiological scientific perspective, the more tissue and weight you carry, the harder your body organs have to work. That's science, baby. It's science. It has nothing to do with trying to say one is better than the other, one is sexier than the other, one is no, that ain't what this about. Beauty, there's a beauty in everything. There's beauty in curvaceousness. Trust me, I'm speaking of my own curves when I say there's beauty in curvaceousness, okay? But by default, my natural stature is to be on the thinner side. But that's my default setting that has to do with my genetics, my bloodline, the carnation that I chose this lifetime. So my skeletal system and all of that. But there's a variance there, but notice how your body feels when you are not carrying excess. That's why when you're pregnant, when women are pregnant, they feel that and they be like, oh my God. Not just because of the baby, but they feel it because their whole system is having to work so freaking hard. And that's what I'm trying to put out there. So we're going to always have goals here at Impacts Holistic Healing of health and wellness, well-being on a holistic level. I'm going to always be about that. Y'all know it. First for myself, then for you all and anything we do here. Because we want to enjoy this journey, whatever that means for however long that's going to be. We want to enjoy the journey. And a part of that is feeling good. And a part of feeling good is this body we've chosen to carry. A part of that is the emotional state and how we're dealing with emotional things. A part of that is healthy boundaries and self-love because without that, then yeah, we're miserable because we're living a dishonoring life because we're, you know what I mean, not validating who we really are or standing up for ourselves when we feel like we should and when we should. Putting our best interests in the front. Let me tell you something, whether it's employment or anything, because at the end of the day, guess what? They're going to put their best interests at the front. They may talk to you. They may say, oh, yeah, but honey, they're not going to put your best interest in that scenario. Their best interest is the best interest of the company. So you equally have a right to do that. The best interest of you. Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Within reason, of course, but I'm just saying we have a right. They do it. Now, come on. They gonna make the best decisions they feel is the most beneficial on an exponential level. Okay? And as should we. Me, I'm a free spirit, oddly enough, Capricorn sun sign, but I also resonate with my rising sign, Libra. I also resonate with my Venus, which is Sagittarius. So it's I lost my thought. what I was trying to say is being free spirited, often we need conditions that are conducive to that. Me, I needed some free flowing stuff. Yeah, I could have some structure and some order because it's necessary to a degree, but I don't like micromanagement. I don't like petty micromanagement. Let me even specify that. Petty micromanagement. If I'm given a company, any company, my all, and I'm working hard and being excellent, which is typically my personality, and I'm producing and I'm growing and I'm improving, all the things which makes why someone would want to hire you and why should they want to keep you, right? If I'm being all that, but yet the energy and the atmosphere is like a more petty micromanagement style where I can't pee in peace, then you know then that's where I have to go in. Listen, this is not about blame. It's where I go in, since we're talking about emotions and all this stuff here. This is where I have to go in and make some decisions and some pros and cons and set some intentions and co-create something better. Because if I can't pee in peace, I can't work with you. I can't work for you. I don't want to go to the job and I'm so nervous that I'm going to be 60 seconds behind the clock on a break and you're going to make it an issue. But I'm giving it all I'm got, working hard, going above and beyond. Yeah, that's not going to work for me. Especially if the nature of the business and what you do is already stressful in itself. The people that you have to deal with and, the systems perhaps that you're working with, um, that ain't gonna work for me. I've always said this, and this is why I will be in dealing with business consultation in terms of energy. Because if you want to minimize and get retention under control, and you want an environment that people want to come to, and no matter what face you put on for folks, that in essence the kind of population you all are dealing with is on extra status. You know that the system is whack, you know what I'm saying? Like, or I'm just being funny, but just being authentic with your own self-assessment as a business. Like, okay, we got a lot of extra going on here. We got this crazy situation right here. We've had this situation that has created some crazy drama. Then we have this system that is, oh, okay. Then we have customers and clients that come on. So we really super need to create an environment that people feel relaxed. They can pee in peace. That people feel like, okay, when they're not connected to dealing with the customer per se or the system, that it is a nurturing and warm and fun and relaxed environment where people don't have sticks up their rear. So, oh, I guess that's for free. But listen, this is all the types of things that we need to start looking at in our lives, because a lot of us, and myself included, when you've been conditioned a certain way and you're trying to prove a point to yourself and, society and all this, you got all this energy. And it's like, you know what? But if at the end of the day you're miserable, universe is going to start synchronizing some stuff anyway. It happened to me before. I'm just going to keep it real, and I'm trying to grab that lesson. It happened to me. It happened to me a year ago where, you know, my higher self was involved and universe involved source, but because of my belief system at the time and the conditioning and me trying to prove something to myself and the fear of the unknown and what am I going to do, I pushed myself to the max on the situation. I pushed. I mean, I pushed. I gave it all I got. I was jumping hurdles, rocks, mountains, fire loops. I mean, I was doing whatever, because I thought that's the way you do it. That's how they say you supposed to, right? But at the end of it all, it was synchronized. I lost that. I lost that particular situation, that particular job at that time. I was supposed to walk away, but I wouldn't because of some tragedies that had happened in the past, because of beliefs, because I was like, well, just give it all you got, and wait until this and this and this. So I was jumping, y'all. Y'all have no idea. I was like, I'm going. I don't care what happens. I'm going. I'm going. I'm going. Forever and forever. Amen. I'm going. Huh? The universe, my higher self stepped in like, no, this is not good for you. This is not a good match for you. You don't truly even want to be here. You think this is the only option you have. So I'm saying this, I'm not trying to push or provoke anybody to do anything or make any choices or decisions that you are not comfortable with because it still comes down to you. What I'm talking about is you simply honoring you. Honor you. And know that when you're being authentic, you're going to get the help and the support even when we don't clearly understand or we can't see the full picture. But when you're really truly giving something all you have and you're trying to honor yourself, then you will be supported. And then guess what? End up happier as a result, too, because you're co creating and making decisions that are more and more alignment for you. I think I put a post up about 6 months ago on Facebook and maybe here where I said, empath, you have a right to change your mind. Because more often than not, sometimes all you can do is give something, go at it, give it a go. Sometimes it's not until then that you really know what you need to know. And guess what? That's okay too. The loyalty needs to first be to ourselves. Because if some don't turn out to be as you thought it would be, you have the right and the free will to change. And that's in anything. All right, I think I've talked enough. This has been therapeutic for myself, and I hope some of you come back to this later and that it provokes you and therapeutic for you in some way of honoring yourself and getting healthy and whole on a holistic level. Um, because you're worthy of it. You are so worthy of it and so deserving of true unconditional love and bliss and happiness and, you know, relationships and situations that feel good to you. All right? You deserve that. You're worthy of that. Okay? Realistic, yes, but realistic in a sense of it's something that's attainable, not realistic in a sense of someone else's version of reality. Realistic that you can attain it. You can sit down and set some goals and the stuff that makes you stretch, understanding that if it's heart space and you're taking all the steps with the guidance that's given you, then it is reality. Just because it wants someone else's don't mean it can't be yours. Maybe you're just the courageous one that's willing to take a path uncharted. Okay. All right. So until next time, I'm sending you all high vibes. Your attitude determines your direction. Dream big, baby. You are worth it. All right. Take care of yourself. Get rest. Get water. Eat an apple. Right. Get rest. Get water. Eat an apple. Take a nice walk in nature. All right. Express yourself. Love yourself. This is how we'll give it back to the world. That's the kind of love the world needs. Authenticity, healthy boundaries, truth, truth to the self, right? All right. Like I said, I would love to hear from you guys. I want to hear your story, your experience. Um, if there's anything you want to see Empaths Holistic Healing do, please make comments. For those of you, they call them cross watchers in the tarot community. Cross watcher is people who are um, they watch for other reasons. I'm aware of you too, though. By the way, just thought I'd tell you. Empaths, listen, you guys got to catch a clue, man. That stuff is real. You know, psychic energy and all of that stuff. You don't have to believe it. It don't matter. You know what the empath know. Empaths know that too. So we decode or we express or share what we wish. That's how that goes. And if we don't want to get into the dynamic, so we'll just let people think we don't know in that moment, but we do know. And guess what? It's still in love because we also know that even when people are cross-watching or just looking or spying or stalking or whatever you want to call it, we know where it comes from. We know. We understand energetically what's happening, and so we still wish well that soul or souls that they come to find their own truth and their own, healing and whatever's needed and desired in their life. We still send that, even though they may not be following us or listening to us for high vibrational, benevolent, loving reasons. That's all right. So know that I'm sending all of you, and I can say that. I'm sending all of you love and light. I'm wishing you all well, that your vibration increases, that your chakras become balanced, that you're able to, do the work on your journey and find your own bliss, find your own peace, find your own hope and happiness without exploiting others or hurting others to do so. All right. All right. So until next time, high vibes, love and light, hugs and kisses. To share the stone, though, before I go, I want to start doing a little bit more of that. Earlier, you guys heard me say I was holding a particular crystal that's designed for certain things. And so I'm going to go ahead and share that. If let me see, is that showing right here? Ooh, let's see. Is it? I don't know because I can't see the screen. So I'm hoping that it, this is a powerful one, baby. One of many that I have. Anywho, this whole time I was holding it, and that was for a reason. I do most things for a reason, you guys. It may seem not that big of a deal, but it's usually something connected to it because I'm constantly communicating or receiving energy from the crystals, and so it's a part of why I do it. Like right now, for an example, in my heart center, I still have I think there's the Herkimer diamond and my Moldavite. Dead. When I say in my heart center, I mean literally between my boobies. Literally, because I want that energy right there in my heart center. So I'm influenced by that. All right. Anyways, I'm going to go and stop talking. Send you all love and light. So hot, so it is, so let it be. Namaste. Darrell.